Welcome back to Track Talk on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's the RacinBoys. I'm Scott. He's Kirk. Troy Harrison sitting in the studio. Phone lines are open. 913-3810. 3810. 913-3810-810. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. Brad Keselowski, is he going to win the championship? What's it going to take for him to do so? Did Austin Dillon make a bonehead move on that truck championship? We'll open it up. You want to talk about some local racing? We'll do it in this segment. I'll be bailing out after this segment because we've got to take Kathy to the airport. She's flying home today, and then I got to run up and do the Kick It for Cancer, the Jeff Gordon cancer program that he has to help kids that are afflicted by cancer. So they're going to be doing that at the Western World today about 10 o'clock. So a lot going on today, and then we'll be doing our broadcast tonight again. The final night, the final race of the 2012 Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour season. Jason Johnson clinched that championship last night. Has a 137-point lead over Wayne Johnson going into the final night. The maximum amount of points any one person can make up is 100, so it is over. Jason Johnson wins his 4th championship, does it in dramatic fashion last night, picking up his 14th win of the 2012 season. So we got a lot going on. You can listen to the final night of the Western World Championships. A lot of great drivers out here in the non-wing as well as the wing cars. That all gets underway at 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Mountain Time here in the Southwest. So we hope you tune in. It should be good. We've had 2 really great broadcasts the last couple nights, and we hope that you can tune in. Don't forget, we'll be doing the Chili Bowl Nationals as well. We will be doing it. Just a mere $2 a day is what it adds up to. If you break it down, $9.95, you'll be able to listen to all 5 nights of the Chili Bowl Nationals. You'll be able to register soon on RacinBoys.com. Our marquee event of the year, the Chili Bowl Nationals again, the 8th year in a row for RacinBoys to do that. And did we make the announcement? I think we might have, that Lucas Oil Products is the title sponsor of the Chili Bowl Nationals. As well, again, in 2013, we'll be out on the road. Well, I guess I'll be out here, Kirk. You might go out and maybe do a race or 2 next year, but they've come back on board with us for the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Dirt Series as well. So be our 5th anniversary doing the national tour, and it's our 8th year doing the Chili Bowl, and our 2nd year doing the Tulsa Shootout, which you can buy for $6.50. So a lot going on, in the winter months. You think, oh, man, you get to take a break, get your wheels under you, kind of like rebuilding your car. No, we just keep fixing our car and keep racing all year round. So we hope that you follow us and do what we do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys, let's quickly jump into it before I have to bail out of here. Kevin Kiesman yesterday was pretty critical of NASCAR and thought it was WWE and looked staged and it was fixed and just, well, didn't have very much good to say about what happened last weekend.
He gives a rat's behind what Kevin Keatsman has to say about racing.
Well, that's true, right? Well, Kevin's our friend. So,
too.
Do you? Really, Jen? Well, I will tell you, I don't feel that way at all. If you know the history of motorsports, you know that people lose their heads sometimes. And stuff like what we saw last week happened. Remember at the Winston when Waltrip's team got into it down there with Rusty Wallace's team. Pretty big deal. This has been going on for years. There's no way it can be staged. Does it kind of look WWE? I can see where people would feel like that. But the fact of the matter is that these guys just lose their heads, and we've seen it in all sports. Like I've said yesterday, when you see a football player heel stomp another player laying down on the ground, or when you see another one jerk his helmet off and hit him with it, or maybe worse yet, somebody lose their head and shove a referee or whatever. I mean, we see people lose their head in all forms of sports, and we haven't seen much like what we saw with Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon last week. We don't see that every week. So I'd say, even though people think that happens all the time, I call it non-typical. But at the same time, the fact of the matter is that it happens, and it happens at all sports.
It only looks like WWF if it looks fake, and it is fake. This was not fake. It was pretty genuine emotions running to the fore there, and you could tell it. So any comparisons to the WWF?
Let me ask you both this.
I don't want to go there.
Let me ask you this. Would you agree that when Clint Boyer was running down towards there, he had a long ways to go from pit road down to the Jeff Gordon's pits? In the process of running down there, he probably started thinking, all right, this might not be a good idea. This could be a big fine. I know I'm mad, but maybe maybe when I get there, or maybe he just pulled up a little short of what he really wanted to do when he get there. Kevin said, only one guy just kind of threw an arm out there to keep him back. I thought the guy was kind of holding him back pretty hard. But at the same time, I got to believe that Clint Boyer was really trying to send a message without having to get too physical. What do you think?
Well, when Boyer knew that his crew is involved in a fracas down there, he wanted to be a part of that situation. He wanted to be there to either help him out or, I don't think he really knew what he was going to do when he ran down there. He just knew that
That's probably true.
He knew he had to be a part of what his crew was a part of because they're all in it together. And when he got there, it was pretty much all done. And then I think he realized that now this was a waste of time getting out of my car and running all the way down here.
Well, here's the thing. Well, first of all, how much extra advertising did 5 Hour Energy get from all the Photoshops that went up on Facebook? That was awesome.
Oh, no doubt.
But, the whole thing was the thing that just blew me away. You've got incidental contact, in my opinion, between Clint and Jeff going down the back straightaway. And then going into turn 3, Jeff Danikas. And by the way, this is a new verb that I'm trying to get going.
I like it.
To Danica is to crash yourself while you're trying to take somebody else out. In honor of what Danica did with Landon Castle here at Kansas Speedway.
Right.
To Danica. So
right.
Jeff goes into turn 3, and he Danica'd. He hit Clint and took himself out, didn't do much to Clint. So now he's going to wait around. And keep in mind, by the way, this is one of the guys who is whining the loudest about Keselowski racing Jimmy Johnson too hard for the freaking lead at Texas. But yet he's going to wait around.
A point championship contender is really what the message was at the time. He raced the guy running for the championship too hard, reckless.
And he was this is racing for the championship, for the win, for the season, and they're saying it's racing too hard. Well, guess what? Then go pull up your frilly lace panties and go play some tiddlywinks, because this is racing. That annoys me. But And here's another thing I was thinking of.
Gordon's car was already tore up from the earlier incident.
Yeah, but now he's going to ruin. Now he's going to ruin. And let's be honest, at that point in time, the only chance Clint really has at the championship is a 2-vehicle crash between the Jimmy Johnson and Keselowski haulers on the way to Homestead. I mean, let's be honest. The chance he had was strictly mathematical and fantasy, but Jeff ruined that chance. And
I want to say this about that just a little bit. I think that there was a play going on there that a lot of cars were running close on fuel at the end of that race. And we didn't know if Keselowski was going to make it to the end. I don't think anybody knew if any of them were going to make it to the end. I don't think Clint Boyer knew if he was going to make it to the end. So knowing what we know, that could have come into play. But you're right. I mean, the chances of Clint winning the championship were slim, but he was still in it.
Yeah.
And he was he had an opportunity to move second. And what is he now? Fourth in the points? I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, he dropped behind Casey Kane.
So you think about the amount of money between second and fourth when it comes to going to Las Vegas for that banquet. I'm sure that's a pretty sizable amount of money he's going to lose. So if anything, he had a reason to be ticked off about that.
Well, what happened is Clint was not part of the press conferences and the conversation when they came to Homestead. Yes, he had a slim chance to try to overhaul these other two guys to win the championship, but at least he would have been part of the press conferences, and I think that didn't sit well with Clint.
Well, and I think there's a deeper level here, and let me explain to you what it is. I think that over the last 20 years, NASCAR drivers have lost the ability, and in all honesty, racers at all levels have lost the ability to differentiate between intentional contact and somebody taking you out, and there's a reason for that.
Right.
You mentioned Rusty and Darrell at the Winston in 1989, and that's exactly the example I was thinking of as I was driving over to the studio this morning. The reason that stood out so much and was such a huge deal when Rusty took Darrell out is because it was rare and it was blatant. And yet, nowadays, you see that move half a dozen times throughout the race, and you see it between guys racing for 23rd spot. And it's become so routine that I think drivers have lost the ability to say, that was a blatant takeout, this is just racing. Because it does happen so often. It's bumper car racing. And we see it on a local level, too. How many times do you see on the forum board somebody whining about somebody who brushed him on the front straightaway the night before? I mean, I think that's something that's infected stock car racing at all levels.
I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of fights at
agree.
racetracks. I've seen a lot of fights at racetracks before, but I don't think I saw what appeared to be a lynching that take place where you have a gang of crew members take down a driver and they were on top of him. That looked a little scary to me.
Well, but that was an IQ test on Jeff's part. I mean, when you're pulling up and the other team's crew is close by, stay strapped in the car with your helmet on. I mean, he
didn't expect what happened to him when he crawled out of that car. That's the last thing he thought about.
Then he's not very smart because after what he did, he should have expected it. And if I was him, I'd have probably pulled up next to the nearest NASCAR official and stayed in the car strapped in until my crew got
pulled
there
up to the NASCAR hauler. Yeah, pulled up to the NASCAR hauler instead of pulling up to his own hauler. That's what I would have done.
It's like, guys, I know I'm going to be here anyway. I'll just shorten my walk.
Right. Okay, before I get out of here, guys, I got to ask you, should have Jeff Gordon been parked this weekend for his actions? Consistency says he should have been when we saw what Kyle Busch did to Ron Hornaday in the Truck Series, taking him out intentionally. I know that he has a past, and some people put a lot of stock in that Jeff Gordon doesn't have this kind of thing that's happened. But you remember, he did get out of his car, and he did grab a hold of Jeff Burton. He's not above and beyond getting out and trying to get a pushy-shovey match. He doesn't throw many punches.
But he wasn't sanctioned for those events earlier.
The fact of it is that he made a play on the championship going into the final race, and I damn sure think he should have been parked. And I think it would have sent the loudest message of all that if you take somebody out that's run for the championship this close to the end of the year and you do it intentionally, oh, by the way, after you were warned and told to pull off the track and you ignored, I think this is the part we forget, he ignored the officials telling him to get off the track, your black flag, get off, and he made another lap with the intention of taking out Clint Boyer, takes out Joey Logano. He takes Joey Logano out in the process. I think he should have been parked.
Let's be real here.
Watching on TV.
Let's be real here. Rick Hendrick is the team owner, and it's Jeff Gordon we're talking about. NASCAR is not going to park Jeff Gordon. You know that.
That's bull.
I'm with Scott on this one. On this one.
I mean, I'm not arguing what they should have done, but let's be realistic. NASCAR was not going to park Jeff Gordon with a car owned by Rick Hendrick.
Then NASCAR takes another shot of credibility at their credibility.
The big shot of credibility is they didn't throw a yellow flag right after Gordon had hit the wall, and they also didn't throw a yellow flag on the last lap of the race when they should have. And why not? That's another discussion we'll get into.
I didn't have a problem with them not throwing the yellow on the last lap, but I had a big problem with them not throwing the yellow when Jeff crashed.
When Gordon crashed, there was parts and pieces flying off that car. You wouldn't have the payback if they'd have thrown the yellow.
That's
like
what
that.
I just said, Kirk. I thought they should have thrown the yellow when Jeff crashed.
He had more debris.
When Jeff Danica'd. I'm sorry. Let's keep that going. After Jeff Danica'd, I thought that they should have thrown the yellow.
All right, Scott, you got to bail out on us, huh?
Yep, got to get out of here. I'm good. Kathy has got to get to the airport. She's been out here all week hanging out with us at the Western World, so I want to get her back, and we're about 45 minutes away. So you guys have a good show, and tell John Anderson. I want you to ask John Anderson if he got any feedback from behind the wheel that we put up on RacinBoys TV this year. See if anything, if he got any kind of anybody talking about that. We were pretty proud that we were able to put that up on Metro Sports, and again, congratulations to him winning his championship. Pass that along to him as well. And don't forget to go to McCarthy Chevrolet. Check them out at kccars.com, or better yet, go out to Olathe on Rawhigh Road. That's Santa Fe and I-35, and get your new Chevrolet or certified used car today. There's no better place to get it. You're not going to get a better deal. $10,000 guarantees. They're going to give you the best price when it comes to a new Chevrolet. That's McCarthy Chevrolet. Again, check them out at kccars.com. Kirk and Troy will be back in a moment with more here on Track Talk. Stay tuned.
Track Talk.